My fellow Nigerians, tonight I speak plainly. Our nation bleeds when the rule of law is mocked and when anger replaces reason. On the matter of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, let me be clear. Nigeria will not be held hostage by any individual, no matter how loud his following. Here is the controversial truth. No release will ever be negotiated under pressure, and no grievance justifies bloodshed. Justice will follow the courts, not the streets. Dialogue remains possible only when violence ends.
Hey you, yes you watching right now. Before you scroll, answer this honestly. Where are you watching from and what made you stop? This channel isn't here to waste your time. Every like tells the algorithm this conversation matters. Every comment keeps it alive. Every share decides how far it travels. If you're watching from Africa, Europe, America, or anywhere else, type it below. Let people see how global this moment is. Like this video. Share it with someone who thinks deeply.
Know the pain in the land. I hear the voices from the southeast, from the north, from the west, from the south-south. I see the protests online and offline. I feel the pressure from allies and critics alike. I am not blind to the suffering, and I am not deaf to the cries. But leadership demands honesty, even when honesty is unpopular. Nigeria bleeds when the rule of law is mocked. Nigeria bleeds when emotion replaces reason. Nigeria bleeds when ethnic loyalty becomes stronger than national responsibility. And Nigeria bleeds when we turn complex legal matters into street battles and social media wars. Let me address directly the issue on the minds of many Nigerians and indeed the international community. The matter of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a Biafran and leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. This matter has become more than a legal case. It has become a symbol, a rallying cry, and for some, a weapon. I will speak the truth without sugarcoating it. Nigeria will not be held hostage by any individual, group, or ideology, no matter how emotional the cause, no matter how loud the supporters, no matter how global the sympathy campaign. This is the controversial truth many do not want to hear. A nation of over 200 million people cannot surrender its laws to pressure, threats, or coordinated unrest. I say this clearly. No release will ever be negotiated under violence. No court decision will be influenced by burning cities. No government will bow to ultimatums written in blood. If this sounds harsh, then ask yourself a harder question. What kind of country negotiates its sovereignty under fear? Let me also speak to another truth that is often ignored. The pain of the Southeast is real. The sense of marginalization is real. The anger did not appear overnight. It has roots in history, failed dialogue, broken trust, and unhealed wounds from the past. Pretending otherwise is dishonest. But acknowledging pain does not mean endorsing chaos. I will not pretend that Nigeria has always been fair. I will not pretend that every community has received equal treatment. I will not pretend that the system is perfect. But I will also not pretend that destroying the system will magically heal injustice. Some have tried to turn the case of Nnamdi Kanu into a referendum on Nigeria's existence. That is dangerous thinking. Others have turned him into a messiah beyond criticism. That too is dangerous. No individual, no matter how symbolic, is bigger than the law. And no government, no matter how powerful, is above accountability. Here is another controversial truth. Justice delayed is painful, but justice hijacked is fatal. The courts must decide, not the streets. The judiciary must be allowed to function without intimidation. When courts are threatened, democracy collapses. I want to speak directly to the young people in the Southeast. I know many of you feel unheard. I know many of you believe the Nigerian project has failed you. But let me ask you this. Who benefits when schools are shut, markets are burned, and investors flee your towns? Who wins when your future is sacrificed on the altar of rage? Violence does not weaken the state. It weakens communities. It does not free prisoners. It creates graves. Let me also speak to security agencies. Power without discipline is tyranny. Enforcement without restraint breeds resentment. The rule of law must apply to all, including those who carry guns in the name of the state. Any abuse, any extrajudicial act, any collective punishment will be investigated. Nigeria cannot demand obedience to the law while violating it. To those calling for war, I say this: Nigeria has seen war before. We know its costs, we know its orphans, its widows, its broken cities. No side wins a civil war. History has already taught us that lesson in blood. To those demanding unconditional release without legal process, I say this: emotional justice is not justice. If the courts decide otherwise tomorrow, the government will obey. If the courts say the process must continue, we will respect that too. The law is not a buffet where we choose what we like. Some will accuse me of betrayal. Some will say I am too soft. Others will say I am too hard. Leadership is standing firm when both sides shout. Let me make something else very clear. Dialogue is not weakness. Dialogue is not surrender. Dialogue is strength. But dialogue cannot happen when one hand holds a microphone and the other holds a matchstick. Dialogue requires calm, sincerity, and a willingness to accept outcomes that may not favor us. Nigeria is not owned by any ethnic group. Nigeria is not a prison of tribes. Nigeria is a shared responsibility. The North cannot prosper while the Southeast burns. The West cannot thrive while the East bleeds. The South-South cannot be safe while the North is unstable. Our destinies are tied whether we like it or not. I call on governors, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and influencers. Lower the temperature. Stop profiting from outrage. Stop amplifying fear for relevance. Words can kill faster than bullets in a fragile nation. I also call on those abroad funding unrest from the comfort of foreign cities. Patriotism from a distance is easy. The consequences of chaos are borne by villagers, traders, students, and workers at home. If you truly love your people, do not push them into the fire while you remain safe. Let me address the idea of self-determination. It is a serious subject. It deserves serious conversation. But self-determination cannot be built on intimidation, shutdowns, and fear. It must be rooted in law, international norms, and peaceful advocacy. Anything else is rebellion disguised as liberation. I choose unity over applause. I choose law over sentiment. I choose peace over popularity. Nigeria today stands at a moment where every decision echoes into the future. We can either pull back from the edge or push ourselves over it. We can either argue fiercely and still live together, or insist on absolute victory and lose everything. I will not preside over the disintegration of this nation. I will not allow Nigeria to be ruled by fear. I will not gamble the lives of millions for political convenience. But hear this as well. I am open to sincere engagement. I am open to lawful solutions. I am open to reforms that address legitimate grievances. What I am not open to is violence as a bargaining tool. To the mothers afraid to let their children go to school, to the traders watching their livelihoods disappear, to the young men being recruited into anger before they understand its cost. This government hears you. Peace is not silence. Peace is courage. Peace is choosing the harder path of dialogue when revenge feels easier. My fellow Nigerians, history is watching us. Future generations will ask what we did when the nation trembled. Let them not say we chose fire over wisdom. Let them say we chose to hold Nigeria together, not by force, but by law, justice, and mutual understanding. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I will continue the fictional address in the same tone, grounded in current realities, without adding new retention questions. My fellow Nigerians, I must also confront another uncomfortable reality that many prefer to whisper rather than say aloud. Social media has become a second battlefield where half-truths travel faster than facts and outrage is rewarded more than understanding. Lies wrapped in patriotism are still lies. And when misinformation fuels fear, it becomes a weapon more dangerous than any rifle. Some claim this government enjoys the suffering of any region. That is false. No responsible leader celebrates instability because instability destroys legitimacy, economy, and security. The insecurity in the Southeast today is not a victory for the federal government. It is a wound on the nation's body, and wounds left untreated become infections. Yet we must be honest. The cycle of sit-at-home orders enforced with threats, arson, and killings has damaged the very people it claims to defend. Children are losing education, businesses are relocating, professionals are fleeing, investors are afraid. The Southeast, known historically for resilience, commerce, and innovation, is being economically suffocated from within. Let us speak plainly. Fear is not resistance. Silence forced by guns is not solidarity. A movement that